Hi there, crew members, Starfleet personnel. Welcome to another deep dive into the USS Enterprise 1701, the original ship, with me, Mr. Trek. Got something very special to show you. Not that all the other stuff wasn't special, but this is really, it's really showing me some amazing things now with this build. Before I show you the model, I'm just going to show you a few clips of the build, of the kind of behind the scenes of the build, and then I'll show you the model as it is so far. Here I'm just preparing the panels, the side panels for the walls and the corridors, and this is just a modelling card with papers. I get different papers from the craft shop, so it's just a white modelling card with grey paper glued to the back. Normally I would use this spray glue, but I really don't like using this because way back in the day when I was at art college, the art college teacher told us to be really careful when we were using it and always use a spray booth. Because it's really not good for you. You definitely don't want to be breathing this in. So I only use this where necessary. I used it to glue down the floor of the curving corridor. But anyway, I'm really glad because in the craft shop I found this stuff, and what it is it's like double-sided sticky. So here's the red the red paper that I'm using to do that red characteristic paneling on the top of the corridor panels. So this double-sided sticky paper, you just cut it out like this. It's so cool. No spraying involved, nothing. And then you just cut the strip out and then lay it carefully on, because once it's down, it's down. So if you make a mistake with this, you're not bringing it back up again. So you have to be really careful when you lean it down. Make sure that it's absolutely on the line there, like that. So there you go. I mean, very beautiful. What I will do now is I'll mark off the length of the panels on here, slice those into panels, and then add them onto the model. There we are, 5 more characteristically styled wall panels ready to be set into this portion of the corridor right here. Here I am, sat behind a portion of the saucer section, the outside rim of the saucer section. It's just a small portion. As you know, this model is going to be huge. It's 1/25th scale. Some of the comments are incredible. Some of the people are just saying, where are you going to put it? Okay, it's going to go in a big room. Okay, so we've estimated that the finished model will be somewhere around about 40 feet long, and just right off the top of my head, it's about as high as this room. So it's going to be, 2.53 meters high. Biggest model ever created. So I'm a little bit proud of that. I must say, I'm a little bit proud, and I am not in the slightest overwhelmed by this mission. As I say, this is like a 3-year mission, just like the episodes. It was like 3 seasons, 3 years, or it could go to 5 years. But one thing that I do guarantee, both for myself and for you as my supporters, subscribers, is it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Anyway, let's get into this. So, like I say, this is a front segment of the outside edge of the saucer section, and when I laid this down on the floor, this thing, if it was in its full saucer, which it will be, would fill up this room. It's like a huge saucer. So this is just a portion of it, and I'm going to give you a tour of this in a moment. We can see our two 1/25th scale crew members, Mr. and Mrs. crew member. They're stood right on the front edge of the saucer section on deck 7, and you can see, so these are like the mega structures of deck 6 and deck 7, the floor of deck 7 here. I've already started building the curving corridor around. These at the front are just kind of held in place with masking tape, so I can take these off easily, so you can see that full corridor. Well, like I say, I'm going to give you a tour of it in a moment anyway. And I'm just loving this. It's just, I'm actually playing, you know, when I'm not filming and I'm not building it, I'm actually playing with it like a kid. You know, like crew member here, when she's a bit stuck, crew member here, going down, walking around in deck 7 and through the door. So I'm like a 10-year-old playing with this. Anyway, so let's take him and we'll just turn the model slightly to the camera. So he's now stood on deck 6 on the platform, which will be deck 6. And also just check out how light this is. You know, it's all made with cardboard. Look at that. It's just, there's no weight in it at all. No weight in it at all. So like I say, again, just to confirm that these are all practice runs before I go into the beginning of the actual build. Okay, this is really important. You know, it's like if you're going to run like a marathon, you don't just set off running for 26 miles. You know, you might do 6 months of training, like every day, just to get it right. Or if, you know, going into a boxing match or something, you don't just step into the ring and do that. You know, you do a lot of practice runs, you do a lot of training, so that when you actually do the event, hopefully it comes off cool. And already this is working, because as I was building this, I made several mistakes with the angles of the superstructures here, which I've now cleared up, so I understand that fully now. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to go into like detailed model building, making it perfect, and then realise like halfway through that it doesn't fit or it doesn't match or I've made a mistake in something. So I'm getting that all out of the way now. I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast with this. You know, I mean, these models in themselves, I'm really enjoying making them. So the awesome thing is when you see this, again, as I say in a lot of my previous videos, part of my mission here is to show how big this ship actually is. The size of it, the size of this is incredible, and I'm really enjoying displaying that, showing that. So here we can see the outer edge. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go handheld now and give you a tour of this, okay, so you can see it closer. Okay, so we're going to start with our crew member right here, standing on the front edge of deck 7, and then I'm just going to pull out here, and there you can see that beautiful curving corridor that we are familiar with from the show. Curving corridor, of course, indicating that we are in the saucer section. Okay, so I'm just pulling out a little bit more, and here you can see the superstructures of the ship coming into view all the way out to here, which is the top of the saucer section, and now we're kind of looking in on deck 6. Alright, so we come down here and have a look and pull out, and that really gives us scale. Look at that really gives us scale. So I'm just panning around here. Look at these superstructures, and then just going to come in here and give you this view on deck 7, looking at those superstructures again, and then panning across into the corridor of deck 7, Something that I'm really looking forward to is also beginning to construct the corridor on deck 6, which is up here. So that's really going to give me a feel for the multi layers of this of the saucer section of the ship. Okay, just going to give you a nice close up of that curving corridor here. So we'll just move our female crew member out of the way as we go into the interior. Look, oh, just look at that, the interior of the corridor there. So you can already get a feel of what this is going to be like. On the panels, on the wall panels, I've started adding bits of detail here, like what we saw in the show. And the red thing stuck on the wall behind that, this is where some just everyday items can be really valuable. That red thing stuck on the wall there is actually a stopper in a spray can. So you know, like when you buy a can of spray paint, there's a stopper on it so that anybody that's browsing in the shop can't just do test sprays with it. So you have to take that off before you can spray, and it just really gives itself to one of those kind of nondescript things that we saw stuck on the panels on the original Enterprise in the show. I don't know what this will be, some kind of like outlet or something, whatever, but it looks right. It looks totally right. Okay, so just pull out again, give you a top-down view of the build of the model. So of course I've got to build the decking for deck 6, which will, as in the finished model, deck 6 will be able to slide that out. So just imagine, here's some panels that I've made here that have not been cut out yet. So I'm going to cut these out today and start applying them to the curving corridor, but just turn it off for now. So if you just imagine that this is the decking, the floor of deck 6, I'm going to build it so this can be slid out from the model to reveal deck 7 and the details of deck 7 underneath. Okay, and then also on the top of the model, I'll be building like the ceiling of deck 6, which is the outer hull of the saucer section, that way. So there we go. There's the model from a distance. Absolutely beautiful. Just give you one last view from down here, looking into that curving corridor, and they again, oh, you can just see that those uniform mega structures of the outer hull, and they're moving across into that curving corridor with those standard red overhead panels, which I will put the detail on that as well a little bit later. There. So I'm really excited to show you this because, like I say, the other video where I showed you the secondary hull, the deck levels in the secondary hull, that was a two-dimensional model, which again also really showed the scale of the ship. But this 3D model, I think this is really getting it across now. I hope you enjoyed this video and the tour around deck 6 and deck 7. As always, please do subscribe, give the videos a like, and share the videos. As always, thank you so much for the support that you're giving to this mission and this project. It's really giving me a lot of energy to just go crazy deep into this mission. So thank you for that very much. The next video that I show will be a more finished version of the model it will be the finished version of the model that I just showed here, with the crew quarters and the ladder access from deck 7 up to deck 6, and also one or two other elements that I'm considering putting into this, because as we know, as Trek fans, the USS Enterprise has that curving part from deck 7 that then curves in, and so it kind of cuts off the outer edge of deck 7 from the inner part of deck 7, because there doesn't seem to be any corridor access. So I had this idea, and it's a really cool idea, or maybe it isn't. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please let me know. I'm loving the comments and the feedback that I'm getting. So let me know what you think about this, because in the series UFO, the fantastic Jerry Anderson series UFO, the beginning of it, that epic beginning, I love it, like dun 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 dun. That music was like really used to get me fired up. But in that opening, there's a scene where you see the guys swing up and then go down those kind of slides into the interceptors. So they kind of great fun. They kind of lift up from the deck, slide down into the seat of the interceptor. I'm kind of wondering, would they have something like that on the Enterprise? So you're walking along deck 6, and then would there be an area where they've got like the lift up thing like they had in UFO, where the crew members could literally slide down into the outer area of deck 7? Is that a great idea to put in? We never saw it in the show, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't there. Could also be a really, really good escape element. So, if there was like an issue on deck 6, like in one of the episodes, one of the phasers was about to explode on overload, and it would have just basically blown out a section of, it was on deck 7 or deck 5, it would have blown it out. So could that also be a really cool escape mechanism, so that if something like that did happen, that the crew members could literally just get into slide shafts and go down away from the danger onto another deck. Without all kind of queuing up at the turbo elevators and scrambling down those ladders that we saw. So I'm thinking of including that as well into this USS Enterprise. Anyway, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you soon in the next video. One important point actually, I like to think that as Mr. Trek, I do what I say I'm going to do, and at the very beginning, I think the very first video, in my enthusiasm I said I was going to make a video every day or every few days, and now that I'm into it, I really realise that is not sustainable. It's not feasible. So it's likely, I really want to make quality, even though these are test runs, I want to make quality models and I want to make quality videos to show you. So I think realistically, we're looking at one video a week. I think that's fair enough. Every 4 days, one a week, something like that. So bye for now. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.